Hello everyone, and welcome back. As you can see here, service on the Conrail Central City subdivision is red hot. Here on the Fairview Park terminal line of the Central City subdivision, which is a fictional railroad that I made up as part of the Conrail system. It's just east of Cleveland, actually just west of Cleveland, excuse me. We are here on the Fairview Park Terminal, which is the customer cluster in a highly industrial area. And what growth we have had. Here we have Ford Central City stamping. We have our yard is completed. As you can see, we've got a ladder track yard here for the stamping plant. And we have, that haze bumper there is the end of the industry branch line. The ladder track services Ford Motor Company stamping plant 24 hours a day, and Conrail has their own switch engine there to move the boxcars, and also the transfer caboose is stationed there as well. As you saw earlier in the video, we had a transfer come in from Central City Yard. He stopped right there. We had changed the track plan. We were having a lot of problems with the old lead, lead to the industrial branch line. We couldn't figure out what was going on, but someone in the track department said, replace those turnout switches with number 4 switches, go to a 22-degree turn, and come straight down. You won't have any problems. Well, as you can see, we ran a train through that whole turn at 40 miles an hour and didn't have a single problem, and it ran smooth as glass. We've had to do a lot of work on the line to upgrade the line, but it has been well worth it, and we are thrilled to death, especially with shipments exceeding. The beer distributor moved out. They moved to another location. Mega Pizza bought the building. They're going to make it a cheese processing plant for them. This facility, which was Mega Pizza's distribution facility, is now going to be their vegetable and pizza dough manufacturing facility. Mega Pizza has branched out to not only making and distributing their own products for their own restaurants, but also others as well. This has put a tremendous strain on the railroad, although in a very good way. Business development at Conrail was excited when this happened, and it was on Conrail to provide refrigerated boxcars for shipment of products. Mega Pizza has 6 distribution centers throughout the country. 5 of them do have rail access. So Conrail will be loading, switching out, and delivering cars where they can, in conjunction with other railroads, of course. But Conrail is going to provide the cars. Unlike most East Coast railroads, pretty much all of them, Conrail did actually have, and I don't understand this, but okay, Conrail did have mechanical reefers. They didn't have that many of them, but they did have mechanical refrigerated boxcars. They were painted, well, they had 2 colors. There was a white color that was the newer ones, and then they had these yellow ones. The yellow ones were later on. What happened was railroads that Conrail absorbed through the bankruptcy of Penn Central and stuff. I think it was the Reading Railroad had some of them, and Erie Lackawanna had some of them, and Conrail absorbed them. Conrail wanted to get rid of them, but they had a customer called General Foods who said, no, you better keep some of those refrigerated boxcars. We need them for our shipments of Cool Whip. Just as a side note, I don't know enough about the business, but I don't understand that. Like, do we not make frozen foods here in the East Coast of the United States? I don't understand why the railroads on the East Coast didn't have mechanical refrigerated boxcars. I mean, the West Coast people did for produce, but I mean, I don't get that. Like, I mean, what did all the frozen foods just ship out by truck or something? Were all the companies who made frozen foods on the East leasing rail cars from some third party. I mean, I don't understand that. I really don't get it. Why none of the East Coast railroads had mechanical refrigerated boxcars. It seems to me like you could tap into a whole industry with that. I don't understand. I mean, produce is not the only food product that gets hauled. I mean, if you look at, okay, I'll give you an example. Look at Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut back in its day. Well, and even nowadays, kind of, I know they've had their ups and downs through the Pepsi and Yum brands and all that, but there's over 600 Pizza Hut locations in the state of Pennsylvania. You think about they need meat, cheese, pepperoni, sauce, vegetables, all that kind of thing. None of that was manufactured. I mean, they make cheese in Wisconsin. I mean, they make cheese in Ohio at Maselli Dairy and other places. Great Lakes Cheese in Cuba, New York, and Hiram, Ohio. None of these places, you couldn't load cheese onto a boxcar and take it to a distribution center somewhere on the East Coast for, you know, for a big chain like Pizza Hut or some of these other places. I don't quite understand. And like Kraft Foods and Nabisco and Heinz, all these food manufacturers who are on the East Coast, General Foods back in the day, I think they're part of Kraft now. None of them had refrigerated shipments on the East Coast that terminated within, you know, it doesn't matter where they terminated. I don't understand why Conrail was the only railroad on the East Coast that had refrigerated mechanical reefer cars. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, heck, Wisconsin Central, you see them right over there, had their own fleet of mechanical reefer cars, and Wisconsin Central wasn't nearly as big as Conrail, although they were a good railroad. A great railroad. Ed Burkhart ran a great railroad. I mean, Wisconsin Central, service through them was red hot. You know, but I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why that isn't a thing. I mean, the West Coast railroads produce and this and that. I mean, but we make a lot of frozen foods. I mean, heck, 20 miles southeast of where I live, Solon, Ohio, there's a Stouffer's has their main manufacturing plant. Nowadays, they took out the rail spur there. You can't even get a train in there anymore. There's a short line, there is a rail track right next to it, and they used to get rail cars in there back in the day. They don't now. It's all truck now. And I don't understand that either. The railroads not want that business. Is trucks better? I don't really get it. I mean, I know precision schedule railroading has screwed things up a lot. But I don't know. It seems like they could do a good job, and it just depends. I think some railroads. I know CSX Norfolk Southern nowadays. They're all, you know. I know people have their opinions of those companies, and they're not all, you know, whatever. But I just don't get it. I would have thought that for sure. They would have had, you know, this would have been a thing for mechanical refrigerator trailers, and the food industry would have certainly been a thing. I mean, Heinz Ketchup, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You know, Harry London Chocolates, Canton, Ohio. Malley's Chocolate, Cleveland, Ohio. You know, all these places. Nestle, Stouffer's, Solon, Ohio. Stouffer's, who's, you know. So I don't know, but I guess, you know, Conrail was the only East Coast railroad that had mechanical refrigerated reefer cars. Maybe the other shippers leased them from other places. I don't know, but Conrail had them, and they had them because they got them from Erie, Lackawanna, and Reading. Reading Railroad, which are both smaller railroads that ended up going bankrupt. What ended up happening was, I think that Conrail only had 40 of them, and then they got rid of them pretty quick. Although I think some of them survived into the 90s and 80s. I don't know, just seems like, and you can see here, we'll go over to our book. You can see here, that's them, right there. I keep a book on this. And then, and later on, where was it? I think that's insulated, but Athearn did make a version of that car. That's mechanical refrigerated. That's in the white. That's white. I think Conrail Historical Society has some pictures of it on their website, pictures of that particular unit on their website. But, you know, for what I'm doing here, It's a mess down here we got to clean up. For what I'm doing here, we're using these. These are the mechanical refrigerated cars, and right there it has the it has all the information in the write-up about it. This is from Conrail Color Guide to Freight Equipment 76 to 87 by Larry D. Young, who's this published by. I don't know who's published by. Someone. We'll find out. Hold on a minute here. As I fumble around. Oh, Morning Sun Books. Okay, well, there you go. And Kutztown Publishing Company. Copyright year 2000, Morning Sun Books. So I'm giving credit. So that's the story with these. Conrail really did have these in real life. They're 50 foot long, which I actually like because they maneuver on the railroad better. They're worth about, I don't know, 3.5 truckloads. So that's pretty good. Those ones over there are 57 foot long. I think they have more cube on them. But that's the story with the refrigerator box, with those mechanical refrigerator cars. So we're using them at Mega Pizza, which is these two buildings now. And in addition to that, we have our Ford yard here. And we've got, you can see, we've got some parts hauling box cars, the big ones. Those are the 6 foot and 10 foot doors. Not to mention, I'm pretty much done now. So I've got some track on order, because you never know what you need. But this is going to be, and this is like totally, I think, excessive. This is like what model railroaders do. They just totally like add way more track than the real railroad would. But there's a method to my madness. That's Sun Valley Food Distributors. They're actually our smallest customer. I needed a less of a degree turn there, so that's them. I ordered track from Bachman today to make that work. This blank space here is going to be loading for Snyder of Berlin potato chips. This is going to be the potato chip plant. And then in here, where you see this you see this square, that is going to be Calico's Creamery. They're an ice cream and frozen confections manufacturing plant. They manufacture ice cream and ice cream sandwiches and gelato and things of that nature. Store brands and their own product line, of course. This is the receiving track where they're going to receive boxcars to unload. This is the shipping track where they're going to ship the refrigerator cars unload. And then these two here, that one there is storage for receiving. This is storage for shipping. This is also siding for storage. It could be, one of these could be for boxcars for the potato chip place to unload. They're going to get mechanical refrigerated cars, and they have, I'm working on the report for them right now. And we'll talk more about Mega Pizza later. If you look at my posts, for the people who watch this, if you look at my posts, I had some marketing material come out. We've got a trade war going on, and we've got new customers coming online on the railroad. Not to mention, we're going to start getting into developing of the main line. That's what a lot of this is for. We're starting to get to that stage now that we're actually at the end. That whole mess has to be cleared out. I need to build buildings here and buildings there. So 2 more structures to build. We had a switch over there in that turn that I removed. That may come back later, but for right now, it's gone. Anyhow, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.